So there's nothing quite like family drama. The media loves to publicize and sensationalize any family drama from the rich and famous. When there's just a hint of drama with the royal family in England, it seems like it becomes everyone's business. We analyze sources and come up with theories as to why things are happening and who is to blame for that drama that is now happening. Now, I'm sure most of us have some degree of family drama. I mean, we're all human. It's a little bit natural. Maybe there are some family members that you don't get along with. Or maybe you feel like your family could be on a season of a telenovela. Today we focus on another royal family's drama. We focus on King David's from the Bible. Now, for those of you who don't know, this King David is the same David who killed Goliath, the giant Goliath. The same man who led armies into victory. The same person known as the man after God's own heart. But he is also the same man who had an affair and got an innocent man killed to try and cover up that affair. And here, many years later, we meet him and his son Absalom in what seems to be a war against them. Absalom's frustration led him to take justice into his own hands. He devised a plan to kill his brother, and after doing so, he fled to his grandfather's place. Sometimes our families or friendships can be like David's. We might not go to physical war with the people who we don't get along with or have issues with, but there are other warlike things we can do. Some of us can also be like David. Now we like to be, I'm like David, the giant slayer, but we can also be like David who ignored things. We can be like David, the person who caused the attention and the tension, an accessory to some wrongdoing. We might not deal with issues that are ours to deal with, or we feel like we don't need to deal with the issues that we have caused. Or we might feel that some issues are too hard for us to handle. And so what do? We ignore it, we wait for other people to deal with it, or we hope it resolves itself, and we just sweep it under the carpet, hoping it will just go away. When things like this happen, especially when we've caused the issue or been an accessory to causing an issue in any kind of relationship, being it friends, family, or even at work, it leads to hurt and resentment. And as we have seen, many other troubling things too. Some of those unresolved issues can cause the people around us to suffer, like it did to Absalom. We all have our part to play, especially in justice. Now, are there any issues with other people that you haven't dealt with? It seems easier to make it seem like it never happened, or perhaps there's shame that when you do have to now face this issue that might have happened years ago, last week, a month ago, that there might be some shame in you now saying, okay, let's sort it out. Is there perhaps someone you need to ask forgiveness from? Sometimes we can be Absalom. We have seen an injustice take place and we're waiting for justice to happen. We can be a product of someone leaving an issue unresolved, and so we take it upon ourselves to see that justice be done. But deep down inside, bitterness towards someone is growing, molding us into something we're not, making forgiveness a concept too far gone to consider now. Are you like Absalom? Is there someone whom you need to forgive? David and Absalom are a prime example of a relationship breakdown, and we can see one way that breakdown can end, in heartbreak. There is no doubt that David still loved his son. Maybe he yearned to reconcile with him, to speak to him one last time, to right the wrong that had happened. Maybe he wanted Absalom's life spared. But what we do know is that regret might be something that followed David for the rest of his life. After that, and none of us want to feel regret for the rest of our lives, especially if that regret could be avoided. So, if someone who you have unresolved issues were to suddenly pass, would you regret not resolving the issue with them? Maybe it's time to fix that. So, family drama isn't nice. It is felt by everyone, but let us not forget about a very important relationship that we sometimes overlook: our relationship with God. He hurts when we have family drama, and he hurts when we have family drama with him, when we become disconnected to him. So our country already has enough drama. Let's not add to it by having family drama with God. So I'm going to give you a moment. Maybe you have unresolved issues with someone. You need to ask someone for forgiveness or forgive someone. Or maybe you're upset with God. Maybe there's something that God didn't do. Or maybe you feel like God hasn't shown up in your life recently. So for a moment, we're going to have a moment of silence where you can pray to God, where you can ask God these questions. Or you can think of that person who you might need to forgive. Or maybe someone needs to forgive you. We're going to have a moment of silence, and then I'm going to play a song. And the lyrics for the song are in your intimation sheets. But first, think of your relationship with God. And if you want, you can even look at the stained glass windows, how they're carefully crafted and put together, and how, in a way, God does that with our lives too.